in my session with you last time. So this one is a continuation of the discussion for. By the way, I'd like to show to you what Rodney had made this morning in our creative writing class as a proof of annotation. Can you show that to the screen, Rod?
Acceleration is equal to
Her notes in creative writing. See? Highlighting words, highlighting terms, underlining them, writing something on the side. That is annotation. When did it happen? Well, it wasn't done during a reading task, but it was during discussions. So it was a during. It really was a during process. So while discussions were going on, Rodney was speaking on some of the things that I said. She noted them down. While reading the module, she found that there were important things that are worth underlining or highlighting. She highlighted them because, again, the module is an academic text and you can annotate on it. As of this time, I'll have a share screen and it's a continuation of the critical reading strategies.
Find either the force or the mass. Let's start with knowing first the formula. The formula for force.
This was the last thing that I had mentioned last time after reading, where we reflect on what we learned, react on some parts of the text we're writing, or we may also consult a classmate or a teacher and discuss some parts of the content, and then you might be interested to link what you already know to what's found on the material that you have just read. Another critical reading strategy is the Sq3r method. S stands for survey or skim. Q is question, and there are three-letter R's. You read, you recite or recall, and then you review the material that you have read. In each of these aspects of the Sq3r method, these are what we do. If we survey, we skim the target text, you look at the headings and the tables, sometimes you look at the first sentence and the last sentence, or you get a total feel of a portion of the feel of the text. That's actually my kind of style when I do the reading of a novel. Even with a novel, my practice really is to go into the last paragraph or last set of sentences of that novel. I would read that part first before I start reading the material from the first page. Why? Because I feel like if the ending is not one that's appealing to me, I would not be so interested into completely reading the material. There was just this impression that I've already developed in mind. I have to know what the ending really showed before I decide to start from the very first part of the material. Then you go with the question stage of Sq3r, where we annotate again, and we even develop questions and the types of information that we expect from the text. For the read stage, we look for answers to questions that are prepared perhaps, or being asked. We stop and slow down if the passage especially is not clear. We also make sure to proceed reading only when we have understood the previous texts. That was the struggle that I encountered when I read Valerio Massimo Manfredi's The Spartan. I might have shared it to you before. I told other classes or other students of this. It took me 2 years, more than 2 years, to actually finish reading that book of Manfredi. Why? It was a novel. Manfredi is an Italian family name, Luciano. Is it? Or does it sound Italian? Or like with a Massimo type, like Valerio Massimo Manfredi. I did not manage to finish it in a short span of time, because if I end at a particular page or chapter of the book, I would actually forget what the previous part was talking about. So I kept on rereading previous chapters. Plus, Manfredi's work was quite high end. I would say that it's not meant for the ordinary readers. I'm not ordinary. Since I managed to finish it, I'm not ordinary. if you want to belong to this group, to the non-ordinary group, I still have the book. You want to read? If you want to read it, provide yourself with your own book. No, actually, if you want to borrow the book is still with me. I still have it now. There's also one book by a Fukuda writer. I forgot his
For
name.
number one,
It's also quite highfalutin. It's a high-end kind of material.
Go down to number 10.
And that it would really require, like in my case, I required myself to really reread previous chapters or previous pages for me to fully understand what the text was all about.
So let's
Then we
start
recite.
doing the
In the recite
solution.
stage, we recount the main points of the text. We even recall by reciting a summary or synthesis based on what we have understood of the text, and we highlight or underline important points that will have been read. And then for the review part, you go back, you read questions, you are to see if you could already answer the questions.
And the force
You evaluate what you have learned,
is equal
and then
to
to ensure that you're convinced and satisfied with the information that has been
force
presented in the
of
academic
35
text.
Newton.
Another strategy, KWL. Each letter in KWL corresponds to, like for the K, letter K in the first column, what you know. Letter L is what you want to learn, and what you have learned for the third column.
Is now going to have the unit
So here's an example of a KWL chart. Again, for the letter K, that's on what I know. What I want to learn is for the letter W, and what I have learned is for the letter L. So let's examine what this person already knows. This person knows that there's a connection between language and gender. This person also knows that women and men are on different levels of talkativeness. So that's already a stock of knowledge that the person has. Now the person expresses, what do I want to learn? Here are questions. Are women really more talkative than men? What accounts for the difference in the frequency of language use between men and women? So after reading the academic text, here are now the things that the person has learned. Women are reported to speak 20,000 words a day, while men speak an average of 7,000 words. Wow! Is this true? Is this true? Do you feel like it's true? FOXP2 protein is one of the genes associated with language. And it was shown that women have higher levels of this protein than men, thereby allowing them to use more words or speak more words than men. Wow, is there some truth on this one? Like, do you agree with this? Putting aside the subject, but do you agree with this? Like, there are more words that women can speak of on a day compared to men?
Which is more likely converted to
Perhaps no.
9,800 Newton.
Any question?
The answer should be this one.
What? Any question? I bet you didn't see this coming.
Mass of the object. Mass naman ngayon ang compute
You did not.
with the formula of force.
Do we have some questions? Don't be afraid.
A force of
It's just a slide.
4,900 Newton is going to be divided by 5 meters.
What I'm afraid now is maybe you thought that was me.
Cancel the
I know, no. Let's not forget Lucia's Mafia membership.
So we have 4, 5
Her family.
divided by 5.
Remember Lucia last year when you were in grade 10?
900.
Grade 11? Don't forget
Then you
Lucia.
have the answer for
This is Lucia. She's the one pulling the strings. Because if you don't have any question, let's proceed with this. Read the title of the following study by Murthy et al. And based on the title, make an inference on the content or main idea of the study. So here's a title, just a title.
acceleration of the object. So the formula is force divided by
Here's a title. So from the sheer title alone, I'd like you to make an inference. But you're not to share this inference with your seatmate. I'd like you to put your answer in, wait, I'll create a post I'll create a post in Edmodo for that activity.
1.875 unit meters per second squared, or you can have your answer as 1.8.
If you go to Edmodo right now, you'll find that I placed a post that says, post your inferences here.
You can have
I'd
1.88
like
as
you
for
to
your
put
graph,
your answers in the comment section.
as 1.88. Sir,
Have you opened your Edmodo
fine,
accounts
I'll
now?
answer 1.87. I'll mark it wrong this time. As a grade 8 student,
Again,
I will not
you go to
be
Edmodo, you'll find there
post
that there's a post
values
that says,
or
post
wrongly
here your post your
inputted.
inferences here.
In your
So you
case,
type
you
your
did
answers
that.
in the
This
comment
task
section.
is less
What
than.
answers
I
will I
repeated
expect to
some
do I
answers
expect to find?
wrongly
Again,
evaluated.
we have
As
here
a
a
grade 8
title,
student, you
just a
should remember
title
that
of a
rounding
study.
off is part of your skills
Your
exercise.
inference should be about the
Kasi, if
possible
answers
content
are
or
wrongly
main
rounded,
idea
for
behind
example,
that study. So I suggest
I
you
only
express
have
your answer in a form of a
1.67
complete
answer wrong.
sentence.
So to
You
be
can just
correct, in your
continue
class
this.
3, this
The
math
study
course,
is
out of
about
7
that
grades,
and so on. It's up to you.
7 is
Put
followed
it
by
that
5.
way. The study is
So,
about
5 or more, increase the
there.
value of the following number by 1. If it is 4 or lesser than 4, retain the number that follows it, or that precedes from that number. Let's have number 9. Okay, number 9.
Ay, don't you have the code, James,
Answer
in
is
read? What is this? EAPP?
acceleration. However, we need to make sure that the unit for our mass
Wait,
is
I'll send you the
exactly
code.
kilograms.
I'll put the code
Look at
in
it. The mass
the
is
chat box,
equal
James,
to
in Google Meet.
1,500 grams.
I hope
Therefore,
everyone has
we
already
need to
entered
convert
this
this to kilograms.
class.
So the conversion there is
That's the code,
1
James.
kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. Diba? 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. So eliminate grams
Okay.
and proceed with kilograms. 1,500 divided by 1,000 is equal to 1.
I'll now end the video
Therefore,
recording.